You've read the stories of Moses and the Exodus, but did you know that Africa is more than just a backdrop in the Bible? It's a key player in the unfolding of biblical history. From the mighty Egyptian empire to the distant lands of Tarshish, Africa's influence is written across the pages of Scripture. But here's the kicker. One African country, often overlooked, holds a secret that could change your entire understanding of the Bible. Stick around because we're about to reveal something that will truly surprise you. Africa is not just a backdrop in biblical narratives. It plays a crucial role in many key events and characters. So grab a snack, get comfy, and let's explore this interesting intersection of faith and history. Before we jump into the specifics, let's take a moment to appreciate the rich historical context of Africa during biblical times. The continent was home to diverse cultures and civilizations, including the ancient Egyptians, Nubians, and more. These societies contributed immensely to the biblical narrative, influencing everything from trade routes to cultural exchanges. The interaction between Africa and the biblical world was vibrant and complex, setting the stage for many significant events in Scripture. Understanding this context helps us appreciate the depth of the biblical text and the roles different nations played throughout history. 10. Egypt, the powerhouse of biblical Africa. Let's start with Egypt, perhaps the most famous African country in the Bible. It's mentioned over 600 times, playing a pivotal role in some of the most well-known stories, like the tale of Joseph, Moses, and the Exodus. Egypt was more than just a place of bondage. It was a symbol of both oppression and divine deliverance. The story of Moses leading the Israelites out of Egypt is a cornerstone of the biblical narrative, representing God's power and faithfulness. But Egypt's role doesn't end there. It was also a center of learning and culture, influencing neighboring regions, including Canaan, where many biblical events unfolded. 9. Ethiopia, the land of the Kushites. Moving on to Ethiopia, which is often associated with the Kushites in the Bible. Ethiopia is mentioned several times, including in the story of the Ethiopian eunuch in the book of Acts. This narrative highlights Ethiopia's connection to early Christianity, showcasing the spread of the faith beyond the borders of Israel. Ethiopia, known for its ancient kingdom and rich cultural heritage, was a place of great significance in biblical times. The land of Kush, often linked to present-day Sudan and Ethiopia, symbolizes the far reaches of the known world, showing that the biblical message was meant for all nations. 8. Libya, the forgotten land of Put. Next, we have Libya, known as Put in the Bible. While it's not as frequently mentioned as Egypt or Ethiopia, Libya's role is still significant. It appears in various contexts, including in the prophecies of Ezekiel and Jeremiah. Libya was a land of warriors and contributed to the diverse mix of nations that interacted with Israel throughout history. Understanding Libya's place in the Bible helps us see the broader picture of how African nations were intertwined with the biblical narrative, influencing and being influenced by the events of the time. 7. Canaan, the bridge between continents. Now let's talk about Canaan, which, while not a country in the modern sense, is located in the region of present-day Israel and Palestine. Canaan was a melting pot of cultures and peoples, including African tribes. The land was a bridge between Africa and the Middle East, playing a crucial role in the biblical story. The Canaanites, along with other peoples like the Hittites and Amorites, were part of the larger narrative of the Israelites' journey to the Promised Land. 6. Sudan, the ancient land of Kush. Sudan, often identified with the biblical land of Kush, is another key player in the biblical narrative. Kush is mentioned in various scriptures, emphasizing its importance in the ancient world. The people of Kush were known for their strength and resilience, and their land was considered one of great wealth and mystery. The connection between Kush and Sudan highlights the deep historical ties between Africa and the biblical world. This region's significance in the Bible shows that Africa was not just a distant land, but a vital part of the biblical story. 5. Algeria, a lesser-known influence. Although Algeria is not frequently mentioned by name, its ancient regions are hinted at in biblical texts regarding trade and migration. The Phoenicians, who established colonies along the North African coast, including modern-day Algeria, played a significant role in the trade networks of the ancient world. These networks connected Africa with the Mediterranean and beyond, influencing the spread of goods, ideas, and even people. Understanding Algeria's place in this context helps us appreciate the complexity of the ancient world and its influence on biblical history. 4. Tunisia, Carthage. The surprising connection. Now here's where things get really interesting. Carthage, located in modern-day Tunisia, was a major player in the ancient world. Known for its battles against Rome, Carthage also has connections to biblical prophecies and narratives. For instance, Some scholars believe that the prophet Ezekiel's references to Tyre and its downfall may also allude to Carthage. The city's rise and fall are tied into the larger narrative of empires and their interactions with Israel. 3. Morocco, the mysterious land of Tarshish. Moving westward, we find Morocco, which is known in biblical texts for its mention of Tarshish. Tarshish was considered a distant land of trade and riches, often associated with gold, silver, and precious stones. While the exact location of Tarshish is still debated, many scholars believe it could refer to regions along the North African coast, including Morocco. The mention of Tarshish in the Bible highlights the extensive trade networks that existed in the ancient world and the connections between Africa and the biblical narrative. This reference underscores the importance of Africa in the economic and cultural exchanges of the time. 2. Somalia, the legendary land of Ophir. Next up is Somalia, often associated with the biblical land of Ophir, famous for its gold and exotic goods. The wealth of Ophir is mentioned in several biblical passages, including the story of King Solomon, who received shipments of gold, silver, and other treasures from this distant land. The association of Ophir with Somalia is based on the region's reputation for being a source of valuable commodities in the ancient world. This connection shows that Africa was not just a passive backdrop in the Bible, but an active participant in the trade and wealth of the time. 1. South Africa, an unwritten legacy. Finally, we come to South Africa. While not directly mentioned in the Bible, the tribes and peoples in the southern regions of Africa have historical ties that resonate with biblical narratives. The migrations and interactions of these peoples with other African nations and beyond have contributed to the rich tapestry of history that intersects with the biblical world. South Africa's unwritten legacy in the Bible is a reminder that the influence of Africa on biblical history is far-reaching and complex, extending beyond the specific mentions of countries and regions. Africa's enduring biblical legacy. To wrap it up, recognizing the presence of African countries in the Bible is crucial for understanding the broader context of biblical events and themes. From Egypt to Carthage, these nations have played vital roles in shaping scripture as we know it. So next time you read the Bible, remember the rich African heritage that is woven throughout its pages. And if this journey through history has piqued your interest, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more intriguing explorations of the mysteries within the Bible. Before you go, what if Africa's role in the Bible has even deeper implications for how we understand the text today? Could there be more connections we've yet to uncover? Stay tuned, because the mysteries of the Bible are far from fully revealed.